All right. So question one. Now, the basis of this question here is when you square a negative number, square, not cube, square, you always get a positive value. So 3 squared plus minus 2 squared. Minus 3 squared is still positive 9, not negative 9. That's very important, right? And minus 2 squared is positive 4. So you end up with 9 plus 4, which is 13. All right, so the answer for this one was C. I think only 2 people got it wrong, but I'm sure that you understand it now, okay? So I'm working on question 2 last. So let's do question 3 very, very quickly. This here is a primary school question, right? 6 over 30, and to convert it to a percentage, we all just multiply it by 100, right? So that's nothing very, very great there, right? For some reason, I need my calculator for this, so forgive me. My brain is a little small. Not small. Slow this morning. I'm getting 20%. So the answer for that one is C. Right? Checking through the answers. No, nobody really got that one wrong. But question 2, before I reveal the answer, I want to use it as an excuse to review it. So let's see what's going on here. You have 0.045 10 to the power minus 3. Now, in standard form, right, whenever you move the decimal point, which direction is that? To the right. Does the number over the 10 get more negative or more positive? If you had to move the decimal point to the right, right? No, a lot of people, and I used to get confused about it when I was now learning it. You see, a lot of people assume the word right with positive. So it's natural for you to think, hey, if the decimal point is moving to the right, the value over the 10 will get more positive. But it's actually the opposite, right? When you move it to the right, it gets more negative. Which means if you had to move the decimal point to the left, like this, then it actually gets more positive. Okay, great. So now that we have that small note, okay, remember in standard form, the value needs to be between 1 and 10. So this number here is clearly less than 1. To get it in between 1 and 10, we have to move the decimal point between the 4 and the 5. So the decimal point is here, so you have to move it 1, 2. So it will be 4.5. Now it seems to me that we're forced to move that decimal point to the right. So it's going to get more negative. But how much more negative? We jump 2 places, 1, 2. So the value over the 10, which already has a minus 3, has to get more negative by 2. So minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. This will change to minus 5. So the answer will be 4.5 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 5, making the value B. Do you all understand it now? Make sure and let me know in the chat, because that was slightly difficult. So the values are 11.1 divided by 0.01. So let's write it like this, 11.1 divided by 0.01. What you want to do in maths, if you divide it, nobody likes decimals. Everybody would simply everyone would simply prefer whole numbers. Now, how maths works, whatever you do to the top of a divide sign, you can do anything in the world, you just have to do the same thing to the other side. So if the top, I'm just saying if, this is just excuse once again for me to elaborate on the topic. If you wanted to multiply the top by 7, let me say you just decide out of one day you get up and you just decide to multiply the top of a fraction by 7. You are allowed to do that in maths. You just have to make sure and do the same thing to the underneath value. Whatever you do to the top, you do to the underneath. That's a general rule for a fraction. So since that is the general rule for a fraction, I would prefer if my denominator was a whole number. To make it a whole number, won't I have to move the decimal point 2 places to the right? By doing that, if I move it here, I will get the number 1. Everyone agrees with that. If I do that to the underneath of the fraction, well, guess what? I have to do the same thing to the top. So I have to move the decimal point how much places? 1, 2. Now I'm going to end up with an empty arc here. You all know what to do. You fill it with a 0. So you're going to get 1, 1, 1, 0. How much is 1, 1, 1, 0 divided by 1? Anything multiplied by 1, divided by 1 is 1. So the answer would be D. Right? For those who, but give me some feedback now. You think that jogs your memory from Form 1? Well, when you had to hide your calculator in class because you weren't allowed to use it just yet. Right. Okay, so ratios. I've never met anyone who liked ratios for some reason. Even Form 5s who are on the verge of writing exams, for some reason, ratios is just one of those topics that never sticks in anyone's head for some reason. But let's go through this one. You have $560 and it goes in a ratio 2 to 3 to 9. They want the difference between the largest and the smallest share. All right, so let's put that on the board here. You have $560. It's probably being divided between 3 people because there's 3 values in the ratio. So the value is 2 to 3 to 9. Ratios are just a fancy way of writing fractions. These 3 values here don't have any denominators. You just have the green numbers, which are numerators. Do you all remember how you get the denominator? Refresh my memory on the chat. How do you go about getting the denominator? You add up, right? You add up all the values. Great. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 9 is 14. So the denominator is 14. Obviously, 9/14 is the largest portion and 2/14 is the largest portion. So what we're going to do is find 2/14 of 560, and then we're going to find 9/14 of 560. So we'll get the largest share and the smallest share. I'm going to cheat a little bit here and use my calculator. I'm going to get $80 here. And for the other one, 9 divided by 14 multiplied by 560, I'm going to get 360. But they asked for the difference between the 2 answers. So now you have to, well, difference obviously means minus. I'm getting $280. Is that answer on the list? Yep, it's C. Right, and a good few people did get it correct. A lot of people didn't answer the question, and some people got it wrong. All right, so I hope you all understand that question now, right? I will leave you working on the screen here for a little bit while we look for some other questions. So that's number 5. All right, so we get number 6 and 7 on the screen. Good luck. All right, so let's work out number 7 first, and then we will go to number 62. Is obviously 2 over 100, right? 1/10, hundredths, thousandths, right? So the answer is E. I don't think I saw any wrong answer for that one. Number 6, I'm going to work out number 6 2 ways. I'll work it out the hard way first. They said 60% of a number, we don't know this number. We just simply don't know it. So all we know is if we find 60%, how do you find 60% of something? You put 60 over 100, You multiply it by this mysterious number, we'll just call it x. And if we were to do that, we would get 90. So that's one way of doing this question. And of course, we have to solve for x. To do this easy, we could probably just divide 60 by 100 first. 60 by 100 is 0.6. And then we multiply by x to get 90. To solve for x, we just simply throw across the 0.6, which is our multiply. Throw it across, you get your divide. They're just like how I've been showing you all the time. So x is equal to 90 divided by 0.6. 90 divided by 0.6 is 150. How much of you all got that answer and you use basically my method? Like you found, you laid it out like this at the beginning of the question. You may have solved it a little different from the second line, but you had at least the first line written. How much people had it laid out like that? All right, Kayla, you had it. Right, so Anjana, you use the table instead, right? Neva, right, you did it like that. All right, but the point is, I hope everyone understands the first method, right? But there's a different method to use, the table method. The table method, let me put it on the side here so we could compare the two methods, right? It's always good to compare two methods side by side, right? So I'll just draw a little line here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a table. We're doing two things here. We have percentages, and the percentages are representing values. 60% of a number is 90. The original number would be 100%. So here's what. 60% is representing a value of 90, because remember, 60% of the mysterious value is 90. So 60% is lined up with the 90. The original value, which we do not know, he would have been the original value. So remember, I always tell you when you use the table, the original value, things like cost price or original first values are always represented by the 100%. Couldn't we just cross multiply here now and quickly solve for x? So let's do that. Let's cross multiply. 60 by x is 60x. 90 by 100 is 9,000. So we cross multiply, let's solve for x. Throw across the multiply, you get a divide. Let's make sure 9,000 divided by 60, and we still get the 150. All right, so look at that, guys. You worked it out two ways. Right? And Dana, yes, that's another way of doing it, right? So there are multiple ways of doing this question, right? I think in all, it's about 5 different ways you can actually do this question, right? So I hope the 2 ways make sense. Obviously, it's a multiple choice. Nobody's going to see you working. You get to use any method you wish, right? So the answer would have been C for number 6. Let's move on. I'll leave it working on the screen for a little while. All right. 8 and 9. Good luck. Over the course of a couple Saturdays, right? 301, 301. All you need to do is work out these values, right? Won't the answer be A? Because A is which one? 3 multiplied by 10 to the power 2 plus 1. Remember, call it the BODMAS. You do the multiplication first. 10 squared is 100. We all know 3 by 100 is 300. If you add 1 after, you're obviously going to get 301. Simple stuff. The next question, all you have to do is pretend 3n, the entire values, 3n is an odd number. Choose any odd number in the world. Let 3n be 7. Which one of these, if you replace the 3n with 7, would you get an even number? Won't C be the answer? Because 7 minus 1 is 6. And we all know 6 is an even number. So the answer would be C. Right? So question 9 is all about pretend. You pretend 3n is any odd number in the world, and then you substitute it in all the different answers and see which one just simply gives you an even number. Right? So nothing too difficult here. Hopefully the next set of questions will be more challenging. Venn diagrams. Well, I could only get one to fit here on the screen. So number, yes, yeah, number 10 for the time being. Question. So number 10 is just a fancy way of finding the LCM of all of these values. And the answer is going to be B. Right? So if you never knew of a practical application of LCM, now you know, right? When you're dividing things amongst different groups, it doesn't have to be people, it could be anything, right? LCM gives you a very easy way of figuring out a value that can accommodate all the groups at the same time, right? So let's move on. Oh, Venn diagrams. I always like Venn diagrams. I know you all don't like Venn diagrams. So let's see what we have here. 11 and 12. You all notice nothing in P is shaded. Look at the P circle here. The entire P circle has no shading inside it. In fact, you are shading everything outside P. You are shading everything that is not P. So the answer is A. Whenever you see a letter with a little stroke here, well, this is called complement. That means everything but that letter. In other words, this letter is immune to shading, right? So a lot of people got it wrong, right? But for those who got it wrong, you think you understand it now? This means complement. Complement means everything but that. That letter has protection from shading. You're not even allowed to go an inch inside that circle. Right. Number 12. Equivalent doesn't mean equal. A lot of people think equivalent and equal is the same thing. No, that's actually not true. Equivalent just means you have at least the same amount of items. So A, B, C, D, that's 4 items. Which one of these has also has 4 items? It doesn't have to be the same exact items, just the same amount. The answer would be C. P, Q, R, S are also 4 items. All right, so I hope you all understand those two. All right, let's move on, right? Let's see, 12, so it's 13 and 14. Well, number 13 is below here. Let's see what's going on with this one. The easiest way to do this question, right? Well, what they're trying to say, the value of P is 5, the value of Q is 9. So the whole Q circle is 9, and the whole P circle is 5. And if you union, this U means union. If you combine everyone, you're only getting 10. So there's an overlapping region. The best way to do this is to add the value of P and Q. So P plus Q is 14, and you just minus the union value from it, and you will get 4. So that's a little shortcut in the exam, right? A little, because you're going to be on time constraints there. Right, so try to memorize this question. It's probably the most popular Venn diagram question that can come. Right, so the form 5s, memorize this one. Okay, you add both of them and you minus it, and you minus the union from them. All right, so let's move on. Right, this is actually a form 3 question, to be honest. Oh, another Venn diagram. And yes, your multiple choice will be loaded with multiple choice. Sorry, your multiple choice will be loaded with Venn diagram questions. All right. Number 14, get started. Let me get started a little bit too. Just gears everything up. So let's list some factors of 6. 1, 2, 3, and yes, 6 can go into 6. You have to include the 6. Factors of 4. 1, 2, and 4. Which values are similar in both sets? 1 and 2. So the answer would have been B. Right? I'm looking through the answer. Yeah, everyone more or less got that one correct. Nothing too difficult there. So it's 1 and 2. I was hoping to get 15, and I think I get it. 15 and 16 can, nah, a little piece of 16 is off. So let's just quickly do 15 and oh, I don't know if it's reading heavy by you guys, but there's a lot of rain here, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. All right, so number 15 is pretty easy. This is just what? Simple interest, right? Principal by rate by time. I'm not too sure why this question is so easy, but the answer is A. Right? Nothing difficult here. Principal by rate by time. Let's move on. Number 16. 16. It's D, right? You take the cost and divide it by how much you have. Some people put C by mistake, right? But the answer is what? D. And for those who got it wrong, you think you understand the slight mistake? I don't want to spend too much time on a question like this. It's just the cost divided by how much you have. So it's D, not C. Right? Make sure you clarify it on the chat, right? For the few people who got it wrong. The answer for number 15 was A, right? It was A. Principal by rate by time over 100. 15 was A. Right? So someone had asked me to repeat that. Let's see what we can do here. Hey, 17 and 18 can fit. Good luck. To do the question. I know some people would have gone to the table, right? It is possible to do number 17 with the table because you have percentage and, well, the cost. During a sale, a shop allows 20% discount. What will the customer pay for a dress marked the price? So the original price is $30. The discount has not been applied as yet. So that percentage that's representing the $30 is 100%. If you get a discount of 20, what percentage is the dress worth now compared to the original value? What percentage should I put here to calculate X? Should I put 20 or a different value? Right, Cyan, correct. Remember, the original price is represented by 100%. You're getting 20% off because it's a discount. Now, if you're getting 20% off something, how much percentage is remaining for you to pay? That would be 80%, not 120. You gotta minus it. In a discount, the percentage gets lower because you're paying less for it. So you cross, multiply. 100x is equal to 2400. Throw across the multiply divided by 100. You're going to get $24. All right, so the value is $24, which is C. Now, you could do it another way, obviously. You could find 20% of $30, which is what you would normally do in primary school, because in primary school, you would not know about cross multiplication and things. So 20% of 30 is $6. So that's your discount. So the price you will be paying now is 30 minus 6, which is 24. All right. So either way, you're going to get it correct. Tom bought a pen for $60 and sold it to gain 20%. Now, the easiest way to do this, I mean, you can use the table, but just for a little change, I'm just going to do it the primary school way. You just find 20% of how much? 60. That's all they're really doing. And this yellow working here, the yellow working will give you the profit. And that is exactly what they want to know. The extra amount you got, the profit, the gain. So it's 20 over 100 multiplied by 60. And the answer is what? $12. This one was easy. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time on this one. We did multiple questions on profit, loss, using the table, so forth. It should be getting easier at this point. Sorry about that. Let me put back the work in. $19 and $20. Good luck. So for number 19, I'm going to use the cross. Right, there's two things we're dealing with here, percentage and money. The original price, like when she was buying it, it was $120. So that was before she paid any tax or anything on it. And that 100% represented a value of $120. So now she has to pay a sales tax. Now that means the price is going to get higher when nobody likes tax, right? So so there's 10%, it will be 110. What value will that represent now? Cross multiply the 100x. Need my calculator for those big values. 13200. Solve for x, draw across and multiply, you get a divide, right? Cancel. So it's $132. So she now has to pay $132. She pays with $140. So obviously how much change she's going to get? $8, right? 132 and you minus it from the 140. A lot of people got this one wrong. I hope you understand that one. Right. So I need a full screen to do number 20. So take down the working for number 19 if you need to. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. All right. So it have two people here. It have Mary, right? And it have John. Right. So well, we all know the formula for what? Simple interest, right? Interest is what? Principal by rate by time over 100. Well, all we know for sure is that Mary and John got the same exact interest. So what we're going to do is write a formula to calculate Mary's interest and then a formula to calculate John's interest, and then we're going to put them equal to each other because the interests are equal. So we put an equal sign. For Mary, she invested $200, that's the principal. The rate was 5 and the years was 3, and you put it over 100. So that's the formula to calculate Mary's interest. For John's interest, he invested $300 at the same rate, so it's 5, but we don't know the length of time. So we're just going to put T. You can also put X in its place, but we're going to put T for time. And both of them are equal. So guess what? Couldn't we just solve for T now? Let's work out this side and we can work out this. Let me work out this. 200 by 5 by 3 divided by 100. When you work out this, you're just going to get a very nice number, T. Let's work out 300 by 5 divided by 100 and then put back the letter T. 300 by 5 divided by 100. I am getting 15, and don't forget to put T. You are trying to solve for T. This 15 is a multiply. Throw it across. You get a divide. 2 is the answer. So the answer is B. A lot of people got that wrong. Give me some feedback on number 20. Do you finally understand it now? Now, don't get me wrong. You could have cross multiply here as well. And you would have gotten the same answer for T. But I just thought, given the amount of values, this way would have been easier. So leaving it working on the screen for a little while. Let's go for 21 and 22. Right, so 21 and 22 is on the screen. Questions? All right, so there are 20 employees in all for question 21. Now we just need to figure out how much money we have in total and divide it by the amount of employees, which they clearly told us it was 20. So it's 12 gardeners, and each of them getting paid $26. And for the clerks, it's 8 of them, and they're getting $17. So 12 multiplied by 26 is $312. And for 8 by 17, that's 136. So let's add that up. You're going to get $448. And you have 20 employees in all. Remember, the average or mean is you add up everything and divide it by how much you have. So we divide that by 20, and I'm getting 22.4. The answer, that's not. Christian, is sure? Some people are disagreeing with me. They're saying it's B. I double checking my answer. 448 divided by 20. No, I'm getting C. You all agree with that? Let's make it sure. I will make mistakes here and there, right? But right. So a lot of people are saying yes. So right. Right, so we divided by 20 because I did divide by 20. Look at this, right? Okay, so let's hope your exam comes this easy. Interest is principal by rate by, well, that's a T. I should put T for rate. By time over 100. They give us the interest, yes. They gave us the interest, that's 100. The principal, that's all. No. What am I doing wrong here? If the simple interest, all right, the interest is $54. The principal is 800. We don't know the rate, but the time is 3 years over 100. So what we could do, you could cross multiply and solve for R, or there's so many ways to work this out. Let's multiply the 803. So it's 54 over 1 is equal to 2400 by R over 100. Okay, I just multiply the 800 by 3. So if we cross multiply, right? Actually, there's an easier way to do this. Couldn't we just simply, instead of cross multiplying, couldn't we just divide these two values? So this and this will cancel out. And then you will get what? 54 is equal to 24R. Throw across the multiply, you're going to get what? A divide. So the rate is 54 divided by 24. I'm getting 2.25 or 2.25%. B. Right, and most answers that were sent for number 22 was correct. So I'll leave it working there for a few seconds. 23. Oh, look, we got 3 to fit. How lucky. I think 23 is probably the easiest question we had so far. We just want to expand the brackets. Everyone inside the brackets gets multiplied by -2. -2 by x is -2x. And -2 multiplied by -4. Two minus signs end up touching there. So you get +8. So the answer would have been E. All right. Number 24, it is 8a in brackets squared. Now, this squared, well, the 8 and the a are being multiplied. This means the a gets squared and the 8 gets squared also. But this only works for multiply or a divide. And what I'm about to show you, it's perfectly okay to square the 8 separately and the a separately, because this squared belongs to both of them at the same time. 8 squared is 64, and well, a squared is just simply a squared. So the answer would have been D. Let me just rephrase this question two other ways. If it was 8 on a, and it's a divide, and I had this squared here, let me know if what I am doing would be correct. The squared would belong to the 8 and the a at the same time, because the whole thing is in brackets and you have a square. So if the question came like this, would my correct answer on the screen be correct for the divide? Would you all classify that answer as correct? Right, Khadija, correct. Caitlin, correct. All right. No, this is actually correct, because you see the concept of things in brackets and you have a power on the outside. You can extend it to both items if it's multiply or divide. That's perfectly allowed in maths. But if it was 8 plus a and it had a squared, and you decide to put 8 squared plus a squared, like extend that squared to be both of them, to both of them, that would be wrong, and that's not allowed in maths. It only works for multiplication and division. So if I had 8 minus a squared, and I decided to put 8 squared minus a squared, that is also wrong, right? For those who came to class on Tuesday, I think I mentioned this in the Tuesday class as well. All right, so I hope that clears up, because you don't know how the examiner is going to twist around the question for you all. So number 25 now, they use a strange symbol here, but you see this A triangle B, a lot of the times they put A asterisk B, or they could put A and they could put a diamond. It means the same exact thing. The name of this topic is binary operations. Binary operations. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's very easy. So you have A triangle B, and they give you 2A minus 3B. And they want you to find 2 triangle minus 3. All they want you to do is pretend the letter A is 2 and the letter B is minus 3. Because the 2 it comes first and it's in the A position, and the minus 3 is in the B position. You just go to the formula they give you. Any A that you see, replace it with 2. Any B that you see, throw it away and replace it with minus 3. Right? Now, it's just coincidence that it have a 2 and a next 2 here, and a minus 3 and a minus 3. That's just coincidence, right? So you're going to get 2 by 2 is 4, minus 3 by minus 3 is positive 9. It is 13. D is your answer. Leave that on the screen for a little bit. Number 26. Well, 26 and 27 can fit. Good luck. Yeah. Number 26 is just a transposing question. We did plenty like this. 20a minus 16. And what we should do, we should probably multiply every one in the brackets by 3 here. So 12 by 3 is 36. 12 by A is minus 12A. You throw all the A's on one side, everyone without an A on the other side. So you're getting 20A plus 12A. And on the other side, you throw across the minus 16, you get positive 16. You get 32A is equal to 36 plus 16, which is 52. The A's are multiplied, throw it across, you get a divide. I'm getting, well, 6.625. That's what? 1 and 5/8, right? So that's the same thing as 1 and 5/8. 1 and 3/8. Sorry, that's that one. All right. That is 1 and 5/8. Which one is the answer? 1 and 5/8. No, 1 and 5/8. All right. I think that's C, right? Yeah, that's C. That is definitely 1 and 5/8 if you convert it to a mixed fraction. All right, so nothing too difficult there. That's probably one of the easier questions. Number 27, it just wants you to replace the letter M with -3. I can't imagine that being too hard. So P is equal to M squared divided by 2 minus M. When you're replacing something, put it in brackets, right? So you make no mistakes. Replace both M's with -3. -3 squared. Remember, we bounced this up in question 1 today. When you square anything in the world, you're going to get a positive value. 2 minus sign is going to touch here. So it's 9 divided by 5. The answer is C. Okay, 28, 29, and 30. Good luck. I'm not sure if you all remember, but if you have 2 powers separated by brackets, like if I have 4 here and I have a 6 here, and the 2 powers, you notice they are separated by brackets. In maths, it's perfectly okay to multiply the powers, not add the powers, multiply. 6 by 4 is 24. We're going to use that concept over here because what's going to happen, there's a multiply here. And I showed you all earlier that if it's a multiply and you have 2 items, well, then the 3 can be applied to both of them. Now for the B, there's a power of 1 here. It's understood. So what's going to happen? The 2 and the 1 are separated from the 3. So that means you can multiply the powers. The 2 is not involved in anything. He's outside. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, and 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. That's the answer for that one. So that answer would be B. I think number 29 is just multiply all the brackets. So let's take our time and multiply the brackets. You have 3A here. A plus 2B minus B, 2A minus B. Right, so the trick over here is just to look out for what? Your minus signs. You're going to get 3A by A is 3A squared. 3A by 2B is 6AB. Minus B by 2A is minus 2AB. And minus B by minus 3B is positive 3B squared. Okay, because B by B is B squared. These two, you can combine them because both of them have similar letters as AB and AB. So you're going to get 3A squared plus 4AB. That's when you squish these two together, plus 3B squared. Which one is that? The answer would be B for this one. All right. Now the answer for number 30 is clearly obvious. The answer for that would be A. Because if something is more than 0, like this, the difference between 2 squares, so difference means the minus. So you have 2 squares and you're minusing them. It was just basically converting the English to, I say, maths. All right, guys. So that's the last question we're doing for the day.